All right, greetings. Welcome back to Blackburn News, where everything is connected and the viewers are smarter than the average bear. And we're coming to you again from the kitchen studios. Because my studio is in a different configuration and it's too much for me to try to reassemble everything and then break it all down and then put it all back together again. It's just, I don't have the time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. How y'all doing? Greetings, good to see you. We're live on Rockfin, Rumble, and on YouTube. And plenty going on out there. And we'll just start you off with this.
The Democrats won't save you if you're drowning. They won't help you if you are in pain. They'll ask you for your vote. They'll tell you they are broke. Then send a lot of money to Ukraine.
And also Israel.
Republicans will obviously kill you, but at least you know where they are at. They'll shoot you in the head, make sure that you are dead. The Democrats will shoot you in the back,
And also in the balls.
but this is the best democracy we've ever had anywhere. If you're a billionaire, boys, if you're a billionaire. Oh shit, oh dear, here comes another election year. I'd rather have a stick in both my eyes. We'll spend $1 billion, everybody screams and hollers, and either way, the planet fucking fries, it fries. But this is the best democracy we've ever had anywhere. If you're a billionaire, boys, if you're a billionaire, this is the best democracy we've ever had anywhere. If you're a billionaire, boys, if you're a billionaire.
That's good. That's good. This is kind of significant. The Teamsters Union endorses none of the above. Wow. Teamsters will not endorse in presidential election. The decision comes just 2 days after the union's leaders met with Vice President Kamala Harris and months after they met with former President Donald Trump. Wow. So the Democrats touting the old line that they were, that they're pro-union, that they care about workers, that and we know that they don't. We know that they don't. If you think they do, just know that they don't. They don't. They're union busters. Just like the Republicans, by the way. I actually saw an interview, a brief exchange between Trump and Elon Musk. And Trump was like, "You're great. You're really great. Like, I know that you would just fire those if somebody was striking against you. That you just fire them. You just let them go. Just get out of here." And I was like, "Okay, that's how you really feel, Trump, right? Trump is out there trying to appeal on a populist message and trying to out-left the Democrats, and he's actually doing a lot of out-lefting of the Democrats as far as what he's saying. Again, these are politicians. These are politicians. They are saying anything. I mean, the Democrats really aren't really trying that hard to win people over. I mean, they have a few talking points here and there, but they're kind of shamelessly just saying, well, we're gonna we're gonna promise you some things. Remember all the things we promised you 4 years ago? Well, all those things are gone. All those things are out the window. Nowhere in sight. And we're promising basically to out-Republican the Republicans. Which is probably why the Teamsters Union isn't endorsing the Democrats. Another reason why nobody believes the Democrats these days is they're openly lying. They are the biggest gaslighters in the world.
You wanted,
and the ones that are saying, "Well, all Trump ever does is lie," but don't pay attention to what's behind door number 3. Don't pay attention to the fact that the Democrats are constantly lying. All they do is lie. Nancy Pelosi is just straight up lying now, claiming Democrats, excuse me, had an open primary after Joe Biden was pressured to step out of the race. What? She's claiming Kamala Harris won the open primary. Nobody voted for Kamala Harris to be the 2024 nominee. Oh, Andre's back. What's up, man? How you doing? Long time no see.
that you had reportedly said you wanted a sort of an open primary if Joe Biden stepped down. Did you change your mind because you saw all the excitement around Kamala Harris?
No, I didn't change my mind. We had an open primary and she won it. Nobody else got in the race because she was politically astute.
Wait. We had an open primary. She won it. Nobody else was in the race. So, I don't know. I think that sounds like something that Putin would be proud of, right? Apparently, Putin is a dictator, and the Russians are, it's an authoritarian oligarchical society, and they're just evil and bad. Putin. None of Putin's opponents are allowed to even compete. But that doesn't sound like the Democrats at all. Oh, I don't know. That's it. That's it. That's all she wrote. I mean, again, I don't believe that Trump is going to, I don't believe the Democrats or the Republicans are going to follow through on any of their promises. However, Trump is making way better promises. So if you wonder, where he's getting his support from, if you wonder, why you see so much Trump support, if I wonder, and I do wonder, I'm in Los Angeles again this week. In this last week, I have seen more I've seen, I saw a Trump booth at my grocery store. And there were people there, you know, some guy pulled up in a very nice, I don't remember the brand of car. I think it was a Lexus or maybe it was a BMW. Pulled up, ran out, got himself a classic MAGA hat, got back in his car and drove away. This is in Pasadena, California. You know, this is the land of Kamala Harris lawn signs. There's a Trump booth at the grocery store. I have never seen this level of Trump support in Los Angeles County. And it boggles, every time I see it, it boggles my mind. I see your classic, lifted, huge, big ass truck with, you know, Trump flags everywhere and American flags everywhere, something you might see in the Midwest somewhere, rolling down the street in Los Angeles the other day. I'm like, what, you know, and people are like, yes. And I'm like, what is going on? What the hell is going on? But here's Trump promising to cap credit card percentage rates, which, again, this is kind of a wild promise because, really, Trump, you think you're gonna go up against the banks and what they're, you know, these are the banks charging these interest rates on credit cards. You think you're gonna just go, you know, again, this is very appealing to people who don't understand that, like, it's much harder to do that than you know, just saying, or, oh, that's what we're gonna do. But it's a damn good promise.
Catch up. We're going to put a temporary cap on credit card interest rates. We're going to cap it at around 10%. We can't let them make 25 and 30%. Catch up.
This is appealing to a population that's swimming in credit card debt. Not swimming, drowning. Not treading water, drowning. A population that's drowning in credit card debt is like past $1 trillion. Let's look it up. It is sky high. Let's see. Total credit card debt as of second quarter 2024, Americans' total credit card balance stands at $1.14 trillion. Which is, you know, what, again, people are drowning in credit card debt, and if you say something like this on a podium somewhere, and people are like, what? You're going to cap? That appeals to me. I'm drowning in credit card debt. You know, he's out-lefting the Democrats at every turn. Because the Democrats can't even promise you health care. The Democrats can't promise you that they're going to stop funding these wars. The Democrats can't really promise you much. Maybe some student loan forgiveness. Which does appeal to people. So a lot of people did not get their student loans forgiven. However, after that debate, I saw quite a few people on my Facebook pages saying that they had their student loans forgiven. So, you know, that obviously appeals to people, Democrats, people on the left. However, I know quite a few people who did not have their student loans forgiven. So that's a sour point for people, you know, who might be thinking or rethinking their automatic vote for the Dems. Here, the zone is flooded with disinformation, information and disinformation, good, you know, good, bad, or otherwise. Here's Peter Thiel, a billionaire, telling you that he cares about election integrity, but he's making some wild claims as well. Let's listen to Peter Thiel, billionaire, saying that he's very concerned about election integrity.
But I'm pretty sure.
Also telling you that Kamala Harris is going to win and that it's because they cheated. What? This is Peter Thiel telling you that Harris is going to win. It's because they cheated, and we need, election integrity reforms. What?
Kamala will win because they will cheat, they will fortify it, they will steal the ballots. I think our elections they're not perfectly clean. Otherwise, we could examine it. We could have vigorous debate about it. Well, you try to run elections the same way you do it in every other Western democracy. You have one-day voting. You have practically no absentee ballots. You have, it's not this two-month elongated process. That's the way you do it in every other country. You'd have somewhat.
I want to pause it right there. When you heard the crowd cheer, that's because people know that there is a concern around election integrity, right? That's because people are concerned with the election integrity. That is a populist position. People know that there are shenanigans going on around our elections, and that it needs to be paper ballots, one-day voting, all these things. Well, even better, a holiday, an election holiday, right? It's usually on a Tuesday. You let everybody take the day off of work so they can go vote.
Stronger voter ID and make sure that the people who are voting have a right to vote. That's basically what you do in every other Western democracy, and it used to be much more like that in the U.S. 40 years ago, you got the results on the day of the vote. But I'm pretty sure Kamala will win because.
And yeah, you're right. Jackson Messer, he isn't wrong. What he's saying is correct. It's just the fact that the person who's saying it, I think has ulterior motives for telling you the truth, right? And we're seeing that all over the place these days, right? We're seeing, Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and all these people coming out being the champions of free speech and freedom and libertarianism and, right? Calling out the Democrats for their bad behavior. Why? Why are these, very well-connected, military-industrial base connected, Silicon Valley connected, think tank connected, these are very entrenched, wealthy, influential people coming out and trying to tell you, we need free speech protection. I mean, yes, these are all true things. These are all real things, but why are they trying to appeal to people in this way? I think a lot of people fear the worst in their intentions, and probably for good reason. I'm trying to read your comments, Denver. And don't get it twisted. These folks, these folks find a way to fund both sides, right? Right, exactly, Jackson. You don't become a billionaire by focusing on the truth for the greater good. And I don't believe for a second, because their status as billionaires, their wealth, is dependent on being able to obfuscate the truth, being able to pull the wool over people's eyes, being able to exploit people, being able to bust unions, being able to allow for an open door immigration policy, right? Which undermines union pay, which undermines fair pay for, right? The Republicans support this as much as the Democrats. It's just ridiculous that they have it as one of their platform positions. It's wild. They don't want health care for people. They don't want, they want the banks to own everything, even your homes, right? They want everybody renting. They want everybody owning nothing and being happy, right? Anyways, very interesting stuff going on. Meanwhile, the censorship continues. And again, this is the Biden administration censoring, the very diverse, very equity-minded Biden administration censoring African news and African news source, right? Because we care, equity. We care about the people that, whose voices aren't heard. The people who are being exploited by the, by the wealthy, the oligarchical, the people in charge. Right, we're the champions for the little guy, but we are censoring the African stream. Okay. Jimmy Dore pointed this out. This is straight up government censorship. The people pushing World War III and nuclear war get to silence whoever they want, and there's nothing you can do about it. You don't live in a democracy. America is an authoritarian oligarchy disguised as a democracy, and the Democratic Party is destroying, is a bigger threat to democracy, right? While pointing fingers and going, it's a threat to our democracy. He's a threat to our democracy. They're a threat to our democracy. No, they are the biggest threat to the democracy, right? By projecting what they're doing onto other people. Censoring Africans is pretty racist. Yes, ring-tailed fox. Anyways, African Stream. African Stream has been banned by Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. We were censored after U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken made false, unsubstantiated claims against us on Friday. Again, lying. The liars. The lying liars. The Democrats are the lyingest liars I've ever fucking met. Like what, you don't have the standing, you don't have the platform, you don't have the moral authority to call other people liars. You don't have the facts. You don't have the truth on your side. So let's stop. Let's stop with all this, finger pointing and, saying, so, this person needs to be fact checked. Let's fact check the fact checkers first, and then we'll go from there. Here is Antony Blinken.
RT also secretly runs the online platform African Stream.
He's saying RT secretly runs the African Stream, and they're saying this is a lie.
Across a wide range of social media platforms. Now, according to the outlet's website, African Stream is, and I quote, a pan-African digital media organization based exclusively on social media platforms, focusing on giving a voice to all Africans both at home and abroad. In reality, the only voice it gives is to Kremlin propagandists.
Say what?
RT also.
So this is the same as accusing the Uhuru 3 of being Russian propagandists when they're just questioning the policies of the Biden administration. Again, the Biden administration is going after your rights. Yes, Gene, I know this is not an endorsement for Republicans. Please, I'm pointing out that actually the bigger threat are the people that are stabbing you in the back. If you watch the very first song that I played in this video, right? The Republicans will shoot you in the head, but the Democrats will stab you in the back. The Democrats got you believing that, oh no, come on, those guys are really bad. We'll help you. Shank, shank, shank. Anyways, African Stream says they've been banned from Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We do not receive any funding from any state. We will shortly release a full statement regarding our work, our funding, and these accusations. We are currently consulting our legal team to figure out how to best move forward. They are also still on TikTok and X for now. Yes, the Uniparty, sure. The Uniparty. Oh, by the way, yeah, Denver, America is centrally managed, just like China. Yeah, nobody voted for Harris to be VP. Anyways, which is a wild ascension. She didn't get 1% of the vote, even in her home state of California. Like that's how lowly people think of Kamala Harris. Like she couldn't even garner any votes in her home state during the 2020 primary. She was picked to be VP. She was picked to be Biden's successor after Biden ran an uncontested primary this time around. So where are her, who wants Kamala Harris to be president? Nobody really knows. It's obviously the people in charge. Anyways, there's obviously just major mayhem going on. The U.S. is still being terrorized by Hillary Clinton. Yes, she must get revenge on Russia, I guess. Or maybe this is all just a really great Netflix show. The decaying cutoff upper low associated with Storm Boris is dumping tons of rain over the Emilia-Romagna region of Italy, causing life-threatening and catastrophic flash flooding. The impact of this storm across Europe is becoming truly historic. And here's an article telling us what we already have seen over and over. This is from yesterday. Epic floods are wreaking havoc from Africa to Asia. Nigeria is getting whacked. Yeah, I saw that, Denver. I saw that story about fake Kamala supporters, how they're just shipping Kamala supporters around from event to event. They're tracking their cell phones and saying that they're the same people going from event to event. It's just fake enthusiasm. Wow. Anyways, 3 massive flood events across 3 continents have claimed over 1,500 lives and cost over $15 billion in September. Drawing on a record global supply of atmospheric moisture and with a jet stream stuck in a mode identified in climate change research, a series of catastrophic floods has been slamming far-flung parts of the northern hemisphere in September. Flooding from persistent, unusually heavy rains across northwest and north central Africa has taken more than 1,000 lives and driven close to 1 million from their homes. Storm Boris, a stalled upper low, has triggered days of intense rainfall, caused billions in damage, and forced tens of thousands to evacuate. Flooded cities across Central Europe. Typhoon Yagi, which struck Philippines and northern Vietnam and then hauled moisture across the highlands of Southeast Asia, spawned floods and mudslides, have taken more than 500 lives and cost over $13 billion. One link among all these systems: warmer global temperatures allow more water to evaporate from oceans and intensifying rainfall, even as they also suck moisture from parched landscapes where it's not raining. The wet get wetter, the dry get drier. Paradox, as measured via precipitable water, the amount of water vapor in an imaginary column over a given point. August 2024 was the wettest August on record globally and the 14th consecutive wettest month on record in analysis dating back to 1940. Jet stream weirdness is another factor in play in the northern hemisphere. The usual belt of tropical rainfall has been displaced much farther north than usual in Africa, which has moistened parts of the arid Sahara Desert and brought torrents of rain in the semi-arid Sahel belt. Yes, Africa is greening. The Sahara Desert has one of the greenest years in recent history. I saw that too. I don't know. This is a weird story. Maybe we'll look at this story of the chemical attack at a Donald Trump rally in just a moment. Anyways, lakes deep in the Sahara that rarely fill are doing so now after an extratropical cyclone pushed through parts of Morocco and Algeria. Mid-latitudes, the region of the globe that includes much of North America, Europe, and Asia, blocking patterns and cut off upper lows have been prevalent in recent days, including Storm Boris and the slow-moving potential tropical cyclone 8, which dumped more than 20 inches of rain on parts of the Northern Carolina coast. Research extending back more than a decade has pointed to a phenomenon called quasi-resonant amplification, or QRA, as an important factor in prolonged summer weather extremes across the Northern Hemisphere. Such events could become up to 50% more common this century as climate change unfolds. And we'll skip the statement from Michael Mann, because ain't nobody got time for Michael Mann. All right. I also wanted to look at I want to read, maybe not the whole thing, but some of this article from Max Wilbert. Alternative cultures are beautiful and important. They're also not enough. The conscious destruction of a competing ethic and the need for organizing and direct action. There's something wrong with modern life. We all know it. Lonely, isolated, and often purposeless, our lives are tightly controlled by laws, clocks, and schedules. Work rules our day-to-day. We have little sense of political agency, and worries about debt, savings, and medical costs drive increasing numbers of us into addiction to alcohol, drugs, work, shopping, internet browsing, gaming, pornography, and other forms of self-harm. Most of us are far from attuned to our smartphones than to our own souls. Far more attuned to our smartphones than our own souls, let alone our communities or the divine mystery of the world. And meanwhile, the ecological crisis accelerates and the climate breaks down further. More species are driven extinct and our sense of doom grows. So we seek alternative ways to live. Eco-villages, transition towns, community land trusts, housing cooperatives, intentional communities, and shared living spaces are all increasingly popular. I myself live in a sort of not commune communal living situation in rural Oregon. Just get me the hell out of a nuclear family, suburban, white picket fence lifestyle. This is a beautiful and important trend and I want to support it. But I also want to question one of the fundamental premises that often goes unmentioned in these communities, that these alternatives in themselves will change the world. The argument is simple. By building alternative ways of life, we can demonstrate to the people that living simply in communal ecological homes and villages built with natural materials and using subsistence methods is just a better way. As understanding and awareness grows, it's inevitable that people will migrate away from the urban life of 9-to-5 jobs and coffin-like apartments, and this will drain capitalism of the labor that fuels it. I can't disagree that this is a better way to live. My rural home means that rather than dealing with traffic jams, concrete, and crime, I have a daily relationship with birds, deer, and frogs. I watch them year-round and know specific individuals based on their appearance, habits, and preferences. Living where we do, my friends and I gather wild foods, maintain a small garden and orchard, and share many of our possessions and tools. Our lifestyle is cheaper, more social, less stressful, and easier than urban life. It's not perfect. It's often 45 Fahrenheit in my cabin when I wake up on a winter morning, but it's far better for me than the alternative. But to believe that demonstrating alternatives to modern industrial capitalism will result in the end of that system is to ignore power. Power is the fulcrum on which industrial civilization rests. Most obviously, powerful vested interests, like the owners and renters of real estate, banks that provide loans, and all the rest of people in the food chain, from real estate agents to governments that derive their budgets from property taxes, don't want affordable communal ecological housing to be available. Their interests are much better served by expensive housing, a growing market, and demand that outstrips growing supply and keeps prices rising. That means big square footage, fancy design trends, and lots of building permits. But the problem goes beyond this. Permanent cultures living in sustainable, small-scale, and localized ways are nothing new. There are countless examples historically, and a shrinking handful still present today. Some are and have been hunter-gatherers, others horticultural, and some pastoral, and others crossing these boundaries. The problem is this: whenever the dominant culture we live in, call it whatever you want, industrial civilization, capitalism, modernity, the culture of empire, etc., comes into contact with these cultures, it destroys them. When Columbus first landed in the Caribbean, for example, the Taino and Arawak and the Lucayan people he encountered were practicing something similar to permaculture. If we consider permaculture not to be a gardening technique as it is popularly understood, but rather a cultural design system for deliberate sustainability. They were living in a place for thousands of years in what was an ecological paradise. They were also living in equitable, fair, and healthy communities. As Howard Zinn writes in A People's History of the United States, the Arawaks of the Bahama Islands were at the time of Columbus's arrival much like Indians on the mainland, who were remarkable for their hospitality, their belief in sharing. Columbus himself, on the other hand, represented a profoundly different ethic based on hierarchical control, extractive economics, and violence as a tool for power. He wrote in his letters, "As soon as I arrived in the Indies, on the first island which I found, I took some of the natives by force in order that they might learn and might give me information of whatever there is in these parts." Whatever there is to Columbus meant gold, and millions would die to him and his men in their ruthless quest for it. All right. I urge you to go and read the rest of this article. I'm not going to read the rest of it because I don't have time. But his point is that there's going to have to be resistance to the dominant culture, right? Like, yes, gathering together, organizing, finding different ways to sustain yourself, finding ways to pull energy and resources from the system and from corporations is, something that we should all be engaged in, and actually something that I want to do more organizing around. That's something that like is kind of a nebulous future goal of mine, is to organize people around boycotts and alternative lifestyles that like drain the system of energy. But you're gonna have to, they're trying right now to force us into a system where there's gonna be no leaving the system. You're gonna be dependent on the system, and there's, it's either be dependent, on the system or die, right? There's gonna be no getting out of it. There's gonna be no living off grid. There's gonna be no permaculture, communities off grid. There's going to be no collecting rainwater. There's going to be no, setting up your own energy sources. There's going to be none of that, because they're going to make sure that everybody is connected to the grid and to the supermarkets, and there's going to be no getting out of it. Yes, we're already there. Yes, but it's getting more and more difficult to get outside of those things. So now is a really good time to try and get outside of those things in a collective, organized way. Right, but you're gonna have to confront the system. Why? Because power concedes nothing without a demand. There's no, you're gonna have to go up against it. In some way or another, you're gonna have to try. I think change is a bad word. I think you're gonna have to try and, overwhelm and overthrow it, right? Not change, you can change it, possibly. You can change some things about the system, possibly, but you're going to have to change it in a more profound way. Anyways, really great article from Max Wilbert, and it's much longer than I have time to read right now. Guys, if you like this channel, if you like the content that you watch on this channel, if you like getting the content every Monday through Friday, sometimes on the weekends for free, 99. There are really great ways to support the channel, and we need all the support we can get. Hempcar tipped me on Rockfin. Thank you, Hempcar. Hempcar says Singapore's making power out of burned trash, and they filter the smoke, and they make roads out of plastics. And here is a link from Hempcar. I don't know. Maybe this is the way of the future. Maybe this is the way of for a short time of the future. I don't know. I can't actually play this right now because it's going to force me to sign into Facebook. I'm not going to do all that. I will try and play this on another broadcast. Okay, Hempcar, thank you for the link. Anyways, there's lots of links in the description box of whatever platform you're watching this on, and there are direct donate links. Those are the best ways to support the show. To those that already support the show, you know who you are, and I appreciate you. Yeah, Andre was here for a second. So yeah, I think he was just giving us a little proof of life or something like that. But good to see Andre is watching. Let's look at this article real quick about a chemical attack at a Trump rally, just for a moment, before I have to sign off. is a weird story. And sounds a little bit like, what is it? The Havana syndrome? Anyways. Mysterious illness hits approximately 20 attendees after Donald Trump rally in Tucson, Arizona. Excuse me. I need to be drinking water. Approximately 20 attendees of Donald Trump's recent rally in Tucson, Arizona reported falling ill with unusual symptoms shortly after the event concluded, sparking concerns about a possible chemical attack targeting the former president or his supporters. The rally, held in mid-September 2024, saw thousands of supporters gathered to hear Trump speak as part of his campaign trail for the upcoming 2024 presidential election. According to multiple reports, individuals who attended the rally began experiencing symptoms such as blurry vision, swelling, and dizziness. Notably, all of those who reported these symptoms were seated in the section closest to where Trump made his entrance to the stage before delivering his speech. This unusual clustering of cases has raised concerns about whether these attendees were exposed to an unknown substance during the event. Is this the one that they're calling it the third assassination attempt? I don't know. It's not being reported much outside of the local news in Arizona. I don't know. Creative Experiment says listening to Trump will have that effect, I guess. While one of the affected individuals sought medical attention, while the exact cause of her symptoms remain unclear, this report has fueled to growing speculation about a possibility of chemical exposure incident during the rally. Who knows? Very strange story for sure. Gene says it could be groupthink, like the Havana syndrome. Maybe, possibly, we don't know. Odd, nonetheless. For sure. Why is, I don't know, my internet seems to be acting kind of funny. All right, y'all. That is all I have for you today. Seeing if I have anybody else to thank today. I'll be here tomorrow. The powers that be don't like real solutions? Yeah, definitely. Joseph Wood says, I'm pretty sure the average person does not like the real solution either. Also true. If you told somebody that, guys, we can fix climate change. All you got to do is use 20% of the amount of electricity you use now. Don't use most of your appliances. Park your car and don't ever drive it again, right? Get on use a bike for 90% of your travel. I'm sure a lot of people would be like, oh my God, I can't, no, how am I going to, I can't do it. I don't want it. I don't like the back door. I don't like the outdoors, right? I'm looking at this other link here. Updated guidelines for COVID boosters. Here's my updated guideline. Be very careful. All right. Bella says, electricity is 20% of our energy usage. A 5% decrease will save us. All right, guys. That's all I have for you today. I'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Sorry I was a little bit late today. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. we're going to do another book reading. So it's book reading time tomorrow. And thank you all for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you tuning in. And until next time, peace.